Welcome back into another week, finally a busy, good week of No Man's Land tennis. We got a lot to go over, a lot to look forward to in the world of tennis. We got to cover Basel, Vienna. Felt like that was just the two best 500s I've seen all year. The WTA Elite Trophy. We got to look forward to the WTF, the World Tour Final. The ladies are playing right now in a very, very easily finished Cancun stadium. Paris Masters 1000. We're going to talk about balls again for briefly. And then also, it's a special Halloween episode. It's time to do a little Tennis Frankenstein with the boys. We're throwing it back to my first episode with the gentlemen. So, Cole, Fred, it was a good week of tennis.
Yeah, I feel like throughout the season, but even just leading into the Asian swing and the indoor swing, I felt like we just kind of were shitting on it a lot. And the last couple of weeks have been really strong. The draws have been strong. The tennis has been strong. Being able to watch in our time zone has been actually pretty good. Like it's been a solid couple of weeks of tennis, and I'm pumped for another good one in Paris.
Yeah, look, like it was all great, but my concerned list
we got Cole's concern
is just not holding true. If you were on the concern list, you win a title or you make a final. That's
you get a
crazy.
title.
You get a title. Who you get a title? That's crazy, man. Yeah, Basel and Shanghai before that, Hubie making a final, and Felix, man, a mainstay on my concern list. Yeah, guess you got it done.
You finally put him at the top of the concern list, like literally last week. He'd just been kind of mentioned, and then we'd all get into arguments about the other four people on your concern list, and then wham. You're the Oprah of handing out tour titles to people. It is, as you guys were saying, you get one. I got a good place to start. Basel, good 500, good draw. And it really kind of came down, like it got dicey towards the end because there is that race to see who's gonna get the last spot in the World Tour Finals on the men's side we keep talking about. But good final. Felix Auger-Aliassime, that's gotta be, in my opinion, the biggest win of his career just because of what it meant at this point.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think with the form that he's been in, defending all of these points. I mean, what did we say going into the week? He hadn't won back-to-back matches in months and months since Madrid. Yeah. And so for him to, with everything that's kind of been going on, for him to back it up and go take that title, it's so awesome. And he didn't really go through any schmucks either. I mean, he had a good tournament, actually looked capable. Because I feel like when you get in, what are you laughing at, Cole?
We're laughing at that mustache, and
you look schmucks. Like a schmuck with that mustache.
No, you know who I look like. If I could just put a Solinko logo on this hat, I would look like. Who's your favorite coach, Keith?
Craig Boynton.
Yep. Just give me a Solinko logo on this hat. And call me Craig.
Freddie's ridiculous.
Just looks ridiculous. So unreal.
No, dude. Look, Felix, he played pretty well throughout the week. I was still pretty concerned with Hurkacz's travel. I think we covered that pretty well. The Shanghai to middle of the European area. In Basel, it's not basil like Keith likes to say. Like put a little basil leaf on. I said
Basel multiple times.
He said a combo of the two. He can't help himself that he's got a Philly accent.
Well, yeah, that's good. It's really dicey right now if we're in the race for Turin, especially if you're a Casper Ruud fan. I think I'm pretty much writing him off. He just continues to lose matches that he should win. And it's frustrating.
I don't even know if you say he should win. He's getting outplayed. Let's take a step back though. We're talking about FAA and the schmucks he's played. I have no fucking idea how he won that tournament. I mean, he should have lost his first round match to Shevchenko. He was down, I think, in the second or third set, 5-3 or 5-4. Match point was Shevchenko serving. If I'm saying his name right, I hope.
Yeah, that was in the third round.
Was that in the third round? It was early in the tournament.
Yeah, he played a wild card. Reedy or Reddy from Switzerland beat him 3-2. Then he ended up playing Botic van de Zandschloop, beat him 4-2. So two pretty good matches. And then, he played this guy, Shevchenko, who ended up beating Fritz in the round prior to that. And so it really could have been an FAA versus Fritz in the quarters. And yeah, Felix ended up winning 7-6, 3-6, 7-6, and was down and out, found a way to win, then took out Holger Rune in the semis. And then Cole's boy, Hubie Doobie Doo, Herbert.
Yeah, that's another one.
Hurkacz.
That's another one right there, right? If Holger Rune finding some form as well when it really starting to matter here at the end of the year. He beat Keith Monovich, as we like to say. Keith Monovich, since Keith likes his Dunlop boys, and Kekmanovic rocks the Dunlop, so Keith fan by choice. He beat Baez, who Fred thinks is pretty awful at this sport. And then Runa beat Echeverry, and then got outplayed by Auger Aliassime. So it kind of shows you where those two are at right now, or doesn't show you where they're at right now either. But
Hey, Baez is pretty good at this sport. Just I don't think he belongs on an indoor hard court.
That's a fair point.
He's one of the benefactors of the Casper Ruud Tour. Go pick your city south of the equator and play on some red clay when no one else is playing on red clay.
the guy who made US Open final is a Casper Ruud clay tour. I don't understand.
Yeah, the guy's not playing good tennis. You just wrote him off. Cole's the only guy that can write somebody off and then defend him in the next sentence.
Hey, I'm going to defend him and say that Casper Ruud's not a clay quarter, but I digress. I don't want to derail this entire podcast because, we could do that.
We also got to address that you said that Miomir Cekmanovic is I'm a fan of his by choice. I mean, he's not holding a gun to my head. It wasn't like he was like, if Keith doesn't like me, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Keith believes that he is on staff with Dunlop, so he's wearing a Dunlop t-shirt in the podcast
when I was on
right
staff.
now.
When I was on staff.
And is no longer on staff with them, but represents these guys well.
No, actually, I liked Miomir Cekmanovic when he was a Babolat guy because the dude never missed. Thought the guy had some. And then he hired Nalbandian, which I thought was cool. That's just a cool coach to work with. But good win for FAA. Moves up to inside the top 30 now, which is where he kind of should be. He needed that win very badly. It just desperately hurt Hurkacz because Hurkacz really had a chance to really put himself almost in the A spot for the World Tour Finals by not winning that match. But it's another good run for him. He's played like one of the better players on tour recently. There's no other way around it. I mean, he's got one very tired loss in Tokyo, one Shanghai, and then final here. So guy's playing some ball.
Yep, I'll be curious to see what he can do in Paris.
Yeah, it would be very Hurkacz just to lose in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be right on brand. And Cole's smiling at that thought. Look at him. Look how happy he is.
I have nothing to say.
Vienna was the other 500 going on at the same time. That tournament was sick. And that's the reason why we saved it for last. I mean, the quarterfinals had every seed there except for Taylor Fritz. It had one of the best finals all year, and Medvedev and Sinner pulls out on top there. That tournament was unbelievably good. That was a fun watch start to finish.
Yeah, a ton of good early round matchups. You had Tsitsipas and Thiem. Shelton and Sinner was a 7-6, 7-5 win for Sinner in the first round. Medvedev versus Arthur Fils. You had Dimitrov Musetti, who actually just played this evening in Paris in the first round. So back-to-back tournaments for them. It was stacked draw all the way through. And like you said, Keith, I mean, we had a pretty clean shot through to the quarterfinals with Borna Gojo being the only exception. He got a wild card into this event and made Vienna his new dojo.
Yeah, we've moved on from Los Cabos. We're now here in the indoor European cities. Vienna waits for you. What a lovely song I've been listening to all week. Billy Joel. Anyway, we have Sinner and Medvedev bringing up the final, and these guys I think have played 4 or 5 finals this year.
They played a couple. They definitely have played a couple.
I think I read something on Tennis TV before that match started that it was either their 4th or 5th meeting in a final, and the game styles are so enjoyable when those two play. But something about taking all of the, weather and outside factors away and just putting them in an indoor hard court, it's truly like man versus man. And that's what I really enjoyed. And it was a was a marathon, man. It was crazy.
That was one of the best matches I've seen, and it was fun to watch. Kind of a little bit of the evolution of Sinner. That's what I thought. Because I've been somebody that's always said that if Medvedev is on, he's one of like the hardest players to beat because he serves so big and he returns pretty well, and then he's just going to find one game to break you, and he's going to be a tough guy to break back. But Sinner is actually starting to get coached. It's another prime example of good coaching that's going to him because he's rolling over angles a little bit more. He's changing speeds. I'm loving that loopy ball he's hitting a lot of times. That's just setting up big forehands. Like everybody wanted to talk about that point that's going viral. Cole, I think you sent it to all of us of Sinner just like smacking a forehand down the line at like 15,000 miles per hour. Like that ball had to scream, but he sets it up with a couple rollover forehands to get a shorter ball, which he's never done in the past. It's fun to watch him get better at this game.
Yeah, I was really impressed with how Medvedev just kind of hung around. I felt like it just would have been so easy. He lost a brutal first set. He's down a break in the second. Seems like the crowd is all on Yannick's side, and it would have been so easy to go away. And he just gets back on his horse and keeps fighting. And it's just a testament to he's just consistently proving that week in and week out, he's top 3 player in the world.
It's the curse of Daniil Medvedev trying to combat or defend a title. He's never done it. The dude's never defended a title. You knew he was going to lose that right when he walked in. He's like 0-12 in defending titles. It's kind of funny.
Well, to Cole, your point earlier, this is the 4th time that these two have met this year, and they've all been in finals. They met in Rotterdam, Medvedev won. They met in Miami, and Medvedev won. They met in Beijing, Yannick won, and then they just played in Vienna. So Yannick has, because he was before these last 2 that he's won back-to-back, he was 0-6 against Medvedev. And of these 8 matchups, 6 of them have been on indoor hard courts. Interesting.
Yeah, it's and my personal favorite as we wrap up this Vienna masterpiece was the podium ceremony when they have bottles of champagne. I think that is so much fun. I wish every tournament did every week. Like Yannick,
the best. He's gotta be the best at it. He's gotta be the best post losing a tournament. He's the best guy to lose a tournament.
Is the best guy. He doesn't take himself too seriously. He doesn't know how to open champagne. So we gotta put guys in random situations to where they don't do this stuff very often and let their personalities come out. But that moment and the speech like showed that those two guys like actually get on very well. And they want to play each other in many, many, many more finals, as Medvedev says, and they'll probably play a few more in their careers, I think.
Maybe in the World Tour finals.
They're both gonna be there. Have to see which side of the draw they're on. But no, I Medvedev is the best guy to have lose a tournament. There's nobody better on tour. Like the only moment I can think that's close to as good as every time Medvedev loses a tournament is when Stan Wawrinka called Federer an assoul in Miami. If you guys remember that. It was at Indian Wells, my bad. Yeah, it was in Indian Wells.
He's laughing. He's an asshole.
Roger, he's laughing. He's an asshole. That's the only moment that's nearly as good as every time Medvedev loses a tournament because he like sprays Yannick Sinner with champagne and steals the plushie toy out of the trophy. And dude's just funny. The guy's awesome. It just goes to show you can be genuine and kind of an asshole and everybody will love you on tour and from the fan base. That's what Medvedev does. I'm here for it. So. Well, we'll move on to the only women's event of last week, which was the WTA Elite Trophy, which I have to admit, didn't really know what was going on in that until they kept talking about it. And essentially the WTA Elite Trophy was players, 13 through 21. The players that did not qualify for the World Tour Finals for the ladies, they played a 500 event, which Beatrice Hadid Maya took home. It was a good tournament. Maybe better than put together than Cancun at this moment.
Yeah, the best of the rest in Zhuhai.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know both of you guys were hoping to give another middle finger to Wim Facet
I know we so were.
with Zhang playing in the final, lost in two breakers, 7-6, 13-11, and then 7-6 in the second set, and Haddad Maia took the title. But as I was following those scores, I was like, man, Cole is for I don't know. You were texting that you were pulling for Haddad Maia, I guess for other reasons, but I know Zhang was in the back of your guys' heads, so you could give the bird.
Yeah, I mean, Zhang. I think Zhang has now cracked the top 16. I think she's 15th in the world right now. But Haddad Maia is a player that's sort of flown under the radar all year. I mean, she made the semifinals in the French Open, and she lost to Iga very, very tight. It was like 2-6 in like a 8-minute tiebreak. Like, and then she made the quarterfinals in Italy before then. Like, she's had some good results this year. And I feel like other girls in that tournament, like Ostapenko, and I think I'm blanking on the other one that's in that, have won some, and Zhang herself has won a couple titles throughout the year. So it was good to see like Haddad Maia actually get one done.
Yeah, you're right. It was actually it was actually put together. It was an actual event. It was very easy. It was great to watch. I mean, somebody, I think Fred, you called it earlier. It felt a little bit like an NIT tournament for college basketball, which I kind of enjoyed. Like, it was the best. It was the best of the rest. It was players that have played well all year. The WTA has been kind of dominated by a big three, but then there's a bunch of other players that have won titles because nobody's really separated themselves by winning like 10 titles this year. There has been no like Alcaraz or Djokovic or Medvedev that have won like 9 titles. So it was fun. It was good tennis.
I kind of wish that the men's side would look into doing something like that. I know they've got the ATP finals, and then they do the next gen finals, which I guess you could say is sort of the equivalent to what the WTA is doing with this elite trophy in a way, trying to sort of have another event surrounding this. But when we look at this list, I'm like, okay, if the current 1 through 8 stood, I mean, I'd watch a tournament that was, who do we got? Fritz, Hurkacz, Rude, Tommy Paul, Demonor, Hachinov, Tiafoe, Shelton. It's like there's a bunch of guys in there, man. I watch that for sure as like a lead in to the tour finals. And then like you get 2 like pretty sick weeks of tennis.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier. I would like to see like, yeah, that tournament week with all the pods and the groups, and then have like the at-large bid for the 8th spot for the winner of the week before. So like, imagine Haddad Maia is going to Cancun next week, or if it was like next week, if it was, or this week, because it was.
So you would have 8 through 15 play in this other tournament, and whoever wins that tournament takes the 8th spot in Turin.
Yeah, but doesn't play until like the second or third day of the tournament, just so you can give them that little bit of a break. But yeah, I would absolutely do that. Look,
I'm so down for that.
Hire me, WTA. I'm full of ideas. It's the Wernicke Tour Association for no reason other than this, my brilliant mind.
Well, apparently they could have hired you down there to string on the World Tour Finals.
Jesus.
Because I think we got to dive into the World Tour Finals right now. Women's World Tour Finals going on in Cancun. It is just started last night. We've had a couple matches go on. Let's start off with that. We had a great doubles matchup with Fred. I'm going to let you take it because you interviewed the coach of these lovely ladies, but we did have an upset World Tour Finals on doubles last night.
Yeah, Bruce Lipka we had on the podcast a couple weeks back after the girls he's coaching, Gabby Dabrowski and Erin Rutliff, won the U.S. Open. They took out Coco Gauff and Jess Pegula 7-6, 6-3 late last night down in Cancun. So great win for them. And then Jess also had to play singles yesterday, and she took out Rybakina.
She did. Go ahead, Cole. Sorry.
I was gonna say, not to overshadow the great news of our Pegula and doubles pairing that's playing pretty well down in Cancun, but good lord, Sakari late entry. I mean, 0-1 last night to Sabalenka. That's rough.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of Sabalenka played some damn good tennis, and Maria was not on. And I know she wasn't even expecting to get in. She was here in DC, and I actually got to meet her. It was a week ago, and she was going to practice with our team and everything here. And then she's like, "Oh, okay, Mahova pulled out. I'm heading down to Cancun." And she had hit just that day for the first time in like 10 days, because they were planning for off season and everything, but she just was going to hit some balls, and she was going to the gym and staying in shape and staying ready in case she got in. She was in that 9 spot, but the last 3 years, no one had pulled out of the WTA Finals. And so she wasn't really expecting it to happen, and you got to stay ready a little bit. And all of a sudden she went down. And so I think it was a combination of those two things. Sabalenka just kicking a lot of ass, but then also Maria just not really being ready.
Yeah. With Maria getting in, though, cool stat that popped up. Sabalenka, Iga, and Maria and Iga Swiatek and Maria Sakkari are the first trio to make 3 consecutive World Tour finals since Serena, Petra Kvitova, and Iga Radwanska. Was the surprising third.
Agnieszka.
So kind of cool that you got in to kind of keep that going, because it's good for any game to have a consistent kind of 3 players you always can gravitate towards as a fan base. I watched the doubles match a lot last night, Fred, and I had to fully admit, call me sexist all you want, I have really never watched a full women's doubles match on TV at any moment in my life before that match. I enjoyed watching women's doubles so much more than I watched the men's doubles, because you could serve and volley because the serves weren't huge enough to get in there. We saw a lot of that out of Bruce's girls, out of that. A lot of serving, volleying, and the traditional way to play doubles, as Bruce would say, he hates that, but just the way to play doubles, it worked, and they ended up winning that match. And I enjoyed every second of watching that, because I could relate to that doubles a little bit more. Not that I'm on that level, but it was more fun to watch at that level. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad we're getting good tennis. Like, Pegula's level was really good. I'm glad the doubles was high level too, because that's ultimately what we want to see, right? That's why they're putting on the event, because the entire lead up to this event and the weather on the first day, and people talking about like, this is why you play the World Tour Finals indoor so it doesn't rain, and it's in Cancun and it's blowing 50 miles an hour off the beach. Everyone's like harping on the stadium not being built. And yes, does it suck? Do they need to get their act together next year and like, let's have a plan way out in advance and not throw something together in the back half of the season? I'm glad that the tennis is actually bringing it.
No,
Tennis
sure.
is there. Yeah, go ahead, Fred, because I'm gonna rant.
I was just gonna say, like, for sure. I think, like you said, Cole, for both tour finals, you're expecting that this is the culmination of a great year for these 8 people who earn their way to be there. And so you're just hoping that that's what we get, and nobody goes and lays an egg, and it's kind of like a dud of an event. So it's good to see day 1 was pretty solid all around, and day 2 is underway right now.
Tennis is awesome. We're gonna go to a fireside rant with Coach Keith right now, because I'm irate at the WTA. One, all the workers that did the work their ass off to get that tournament put together in a quick amount of time. Kudos on you. The site actually looks like a real site. It looks like a nice stadium. The courts look good. Congratulations to all those people that did that work. This would never happen on the men's side in a million years. They didn't have the ability to hit on the tennis courts until the day of the tournament, essentially. They were hitting on hotel practice courts. Fred, you and I played a small money tournament in Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania, and we had nicer practice courts than these women did, because it was actually like very similar practice courts. They have 1 stringer on site for the women that play singles and doubles. I know you get a little overlap with a couple of them, but we have that many stringers in my house. Like, I have 1 stringer in my house. I am a stringer. So we have the same amount of stringers in my house as they do at the World Tour Finals. This would never happen on the men's side, and it's a joke that it happened for a sport that gets 600 million people to watch it. A lot of people watch women's tennis. It's an absolute joke, and I don't think that's being talked enough, because people are happy to see the tennis, but I'm irate. I'm pissed at the entire thing, and I'm going to watch it to spite the WTA, to show them that they should put on a better event.
Yep. And it's good to see a few of the players they've been posting on social media. They've been speaking out in their press conferences. So it's good to see that they're voicing that and not feeling like they're being suppressed by the WTA and can't really speak up about it. I think the message is hopefully going to be heard loud and clear from the players' side of things. And I hope people like you and us and other people on social media really chime in about it, because it needs to be heard that this is just it's not acceptable.
Felt like the WTA was like, ooh, Iga's wearing a red dress and everybody else is wearing white. Don't look at the fact that we fucked this up from the start. Don't look at that. Just look at Iga's red dress. Everybody pay attention to her red dress. I just
look, if they're gonna talk about like a deepening relationship between the ATP and the WTA, make the World Tour Finals a joint event. The men have gone to Shanghai. They played in the O2 Arena. Now they're in Turin. I mean, why do the girls get to play on a 10,000 capacity stadium that was built last week on a beach in Cancun, like with no planning? Like, it's just crazy. So they should join that, I think, and make it a major spectacle.
That'd be pretty cool. Cole, you got some cool ideas tonight.
Cole's coming in. But an event like this is the gateway for how, if the WTA and ATP don't merge, but an event like this is the gateway for how you get like bad sponsorships and bad money. What I mean by that is that some people don't want to see the Saudis investing, but if I'm the Saudis and I want to take over control of tennis, I'm like, hey, listen, guess what wouldn't happen if I'm running this tournament? You wouldn't have this shit happening. This would be prepared. This would be on the biggest tennis stage you've ever seen in your life. And they're going to come in and make that pitch. I can almost guarantee it's what's going to happen in the future, because it just looks, I felt like the WTA was waiting for the Saudis to come in and save tennis instead of actually being proactive and actually trying to do something for the game that doesn't require a outside foreign investment.
If the tours merged, where would you want to see this event be played? Because I have a pretty unique idea.
I'm a sucker for the O2. I would like it back in the O2, but I'm just a sucker for that event.
I think you should do it like the Open Championship has venues, and how it rotates like 5 or 6 venues in golf. So I would say, like, why don't we do a history tour? I think they've played it in Shanghai, they played it in London, they've played it now in Italy. And I think they've played it maybe once at Madison Square Garden. I think it would be cool to get the 5 or 6 best attended World Tour Finals. I think they did in Germany once, in the history of that event, and then tour the 5, different one every year.
Yep, I would agree. I think there was 2 schools of thought where I was going with this. I think both revolved sort of, rotating aspect of it. I think go the route you're talking about and sort of pick maybe 6 places kind of historically where they've had this event. But my other thought was, I know the Grand Slams already get a big tournament of the year, but I don't know, put it at the O2. Okay, boom, London gets it. Put one in Paris. Boom, France gets it. Put one at the Garden. New York gets it. And then put one down under. Right back where you go, Rod Laver. Or pick another city in Australia.
Yeah.
But I think it would be pretty cool if they picked the country of where the Grand Slams are at. Or, like you said, Cole, which I think would obviously, I think, even be even cooler, is if they did sort of a rotating and maybe make it more than 10 cities. Do what, like, I don't know, what the Ryder Cup and those things do, right? Don't they plan it out? I think here in DC, we're hosting the Ryder Cup in 2037. I saw
you were
someone
talking
wearing
about golf.
They were wearing a hat saying 2037. I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know what's happening next week. Like, what do you mean 2037? But imagine if they planned an event like this out like that, and they gave us the next 12 venues, and it just went around and new places got it for the next 15 years. It'd be pretty cool.
That involves planning and foresight, Fred.
So maybe if the tours come together, they could start planning and have.
They couldn't plan one tour. How are they going to plan 2?
They're gonna hire Cole.
They got to get Gerard Piqué involved, and he'll fix it just like he fixed the Davis Cup. I'm fuming.
We couldn't. Well, World Tour Finals is on right now, and though I am livid and hating every second of how bad the event is, the tennis, as Cole alluded to of the day, keep track at home. It's good. It's really good tennis. So I'm enjoying watching. Who do we think comes out? Who do you think comes out winning the World Tour Finals?
If you asked me 2 days ago, I probably would have picked Rybakina, but I'm going to take Sabalenka now.
Going Pagula, riding with the girl I rode with all year long.
Do you have any of her? Do you have any of like her cosmetic products in your bathroom yet, Fred?
No. Does she make mustache shavers?
She's got some makeup or some blush you can put on that face of yours.
Oh, that's a mustache dance. That's a ride I'd like to take there, Freddie boy.
Keith, who are you taking?
I actually am going to go rogue here, and I'm going to join you with Sabalenka. I think the courts are playing too fast. I'm going to stay away from Iga on this one. They just look like they're playing really quick.
I thought we were going to go Iga, Sabalenka, and Pagula like we've done all year.
I mean, Cole's changing to good planning ideas. I got to change a little bit then too, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for those keeping track on the podcast today, that's not 1, not 2, not 3. Cole, that's good ideas. We're up to three good idea counters.
It is unbelievable. It is just it's great, Cole. We're here for it. Bring it every week.
Waited to the World Tour Finals for growth.
Waited to the end of the year. Cole's ready for
it's character growth, baby.
Cole held his last game for a 6-1, 6-0 loss to go, hey, I'm ready for another set, boys.
Unbelievable.
All right, well, let's go to the men's side now. Paris, Masters 1000. The Masters 1000, where traditionally you get different winners. I saw a stat out there that was something like the last 40 before when the big three were playing, like the last 35 Masters outside of Paris, Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, and Murray won 34 of them with one lone win. But Paris has been totally different. Djokovic leads it, winning it 6 times. Fed's only won it once. Nadal has never won it. So it's been a whole bunch of people that win it. We're just starting off now. We're back to a 1-week Masters. I'm pumped. The tennis has been great all day.
Do you think that different people have won this event more so because some of the top guys are getting ready and resting for the Tour Finals? Or, I don't know, some of the guys that maybe are on the cusp of winning an event like this they've had such a long season, and it kind of ends up being like a random guy who maybe had a long season, but not necessarily, because maybe they were knocked out early in certain weeks, and so they played 25 less matches than some of those guys who are inside the top 20.
Yes. How about yes to that, Ant? I mean, you're okay. I think both are right. Yeah. I mean, Nadal's a little different because Nadal's just, unfortunately for how great he is, just never shown the ability to win on an indoor hard court. It just does not fit his game. And even when he tried to make it fit his game, he still wasn't that great at it. That's why he never won a World Tour Finals, and he's never won in Paris. So it doesn't always fit his game the best. But for the most of the part, yes, I agree with you. That it's just a lot of tennis for a lot of guys, and some just don't care enough. Sorry, Cole.
No, I was, to your point of random dudes winning this tournament. I wouldn't say random, but guys outside of the top 5 or 6. I forgot Jack Sock won this tournament.
He did it to qualify. It was that final. Wasn't it him and Isner in the final?
It was him and Filip Krajinovic.
Yeah, it was Krajinovic. That's right. And I think he beat Isner in the round before that.
Krajinovic beat Isner in the semis. This was also the Jerzy Janowicz coming out party about 13 years ago. And then it was also his goodbye, or for his farewell, because we didn't really see much of him after that.
He had one Wimbledon run.
Yeah, but he qualified at this event, made the final, nearly won it. And then, I mean, that put him inside the top 50. And then I think he probably capped out at right around 30 or top 30. He might have been seeded at a slam, right? Was he top 20?
I think because he made a run at Wimbledon that same year. I'm almost positive he got real high in the rankings.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a weird. I'm trying to spell Jerzy Janowicz, which is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm just looking at some of these results, like Ferrer winning it in 12, Robin Soderling winning it in 2010, Tsonga in 2008, Davydenko, Nalbandian, Murat Safin. I mean, a lot of these guys are unseeded winning this tournament too. So it's Hatchinoff won it in 2018. It's always a roll of the dice, especially when you're playing on that, what I think is the darkest, dingiest court of all time. Court number 2, Fred. I mean, how many times have we flipped on the TV in the past years and like Berrettini's playing like Giron, and it's dungeon time out there, and we're dancing with the devil in the dungeon, the back court, Paris. Like,
I
it's
knew
crazy.
I knew you were gonna say Marcos Giron. I feel like me and you have watched that guy play 5 matches on the graveyard.
As far as I'm concerned, he's never played a match anywhere else in his career other than that on that court.
Yeah,
It's
he
incredible.
thrives in the graveyard.
Jersey Daniels was 13 and the high of 14 in the world, by the way. He made a semifinal at Wimbledon in 2013.
Wow.
Yeah. No, you're right about that, Cole. It reminds me, whenever I look at that court, it reminds me of like an old hidden away like casino. Like when like in like the 50s when you couldn't actually go to like a real casino when gambling was illegal, and like watch Mad Men or Sopranos or shit like that, and you could like go in there and it's like just dark enough where you don't know what's going on, but just light enough where you can see the craps table. That's what Paris reminds me of when you're looking inside that place. I know it's such a weird reference, but it's because they have all the lights on the outside from all the sponsorships that like light up like a Christmas tree. It's like you hit a slot, like bing, 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 bing. That's what it feels like whenever I look inside that stadium.
Today's been to the actual action. Like, today has been a phenomenal day of tennis, and it's still going. It's still going. I heard today that they started the tournament at 11 a.m. this morning. It's like, I think it's like almost 1:30 or 2 a.m. right now.
Yep. It's
2:30, isn't it?
no 1:30. They're plus
it's
5
5
right
hours.
now, I think, right? Or maybe they're plus 6, but
I think daylight savings moves into 6. I think it's still 5.
yeah.
Team and Wawrinka playing right now, and then just before this, I mean, they must have let the entire country of France into the arena tonight, because Dick Gasquet and all his closest friends and all his rowdy friends, as Hank Williams would say. I mean, it was awesome. That was one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen watching tennis, and it's great to know that Dick still got it. Dick still got it, man.
That's good. I'm just glad Tommy Paul came out on the winning end of that one, because that would have been a brutal one for him to choke.
Yeah, no, we were talking about that. Like Dickie Gasquet won. He was swinging a big stick though. He was swinging that backhand. He was swinging that backhand, baby. He always does. I fucking love watching Dickie Gasquet.
Super mature win from Paul. And I know it's like all we can talk about because it's day 1 of the tournament. But I was expecting him to be like, I mean, 6-3 down, 3rd set breaker. I was expecting him to win that and be like, yeah, this is your king. This is your king. And then like just be like, total D-bag. But he actually just like went to the net, shook hands, and then said to everybody, sorry, guys, you guys should have won this one, and then left the arena.
I would have been like, bring out the guillotine. There's another beheading here in France, baby. Yeah, that would have been a Ben Shelton probably celebration, and the entire continent of Europe would have hated him even more than they do now. But no, it's good tennis again. We got it means a lot for a lot of players, because as we kind of mentioned, there's a lot of players that are trying to get to the World Tour Finals, and you have Runa there, you have Casper Ruud, you have Hubert Hurkacz, you have Taylor Fritz, who won today but looks like he may have hurt himself. So there's a couple guys that still have a chance to get in there. So we still sticking with our picks to who's getting in there? Fred, you still sticking with Hubie?
I am. Hubie's my pick still.
Cole, I kind of forgot who you picked last week.
I forget who I picked too. I think it was Fritz.
I picked Holger. I know that. And
yeah, I think you picked Fritz, Cole.
I don't want to say anything because I don't want to contradict what I said. I just don't remember. But
well, what are you leaning towards now?
Well, what is it now? It's Runa in 8th and Fritz in 9.
Fritz and Hurkacz, I think, are within like 20 points of each other.
I think I picked Fritz and Runa was missing out. Of course I said that, and then of course he goes and makes a semi.
It's the jinx. Guys, if you ever want to bet tennis, just whatever Cole thinks is going to happen, just go the opposite direction and you will probably make some money. You will probably do just fine. But this week he's on his game. Who do we think wins Paris this week?
I don't know.
Let me check who's seated 11th.
I think
Hubert Hurkacz. All right, that's my pick.
If he won 2 1000s in this last part of the year, I think Cole's head would explode. I think
I'm making a shirt for Cole that has Hubert Hurkacz's face on it, saying I'm exempt from Cole's concern list.
Yeah, with the little mystery van, the little Hubie Dooby Doo mystery van going out of there from, like, running away from the concern list.
I'm gonna take Alexander Zverev to win this week.
That's a Keith pick if I've ever heard one.
It's a Keith pick, but you're when you pick Alexander Zverev, it's too early in the season after a guy's come
the
back.
U.S. Open?
After a guy who's come back from like an injury-riddled year and needs to get into form. So now, take the elements away, put him indoors. Sasha, baby.
I actually love that pick. You know what? Fuck it. Djokovic is winning again. I don't care how much time. The dude goes into a tournament and wins. He's played like 12 tournaments and he has like 10 wins. It's what he does. It's enough tennis. It's enough of a break for him where he can still play this tournament and be fresh for the World Tour Finals. He's going to win it.
Can I give you my real pick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not just picking the number 11 seed, but I think Nico Jari is going to win this event.
Wow. Be getting the bump pick Alexi Popper in the first round. Depressing.
I just think indoors, big serve, big forehand, and history of this tournament shows that it's probably not going to be anyone that's inside the top like 5 right now. So that's my pick.
It's fair. That's
Ballsy
fair.
pick.
Head ballsy pick because they're now playing on their 5th different ball in like 5 weeks, which everybody's been complaining about on tour. Just so you know, we're not going to do a lot of on this, but it's a weird subject. The tennis balls we talked about a lot. I don't think there's one tennis ball that's going to fix this. I don't think there's one company that's going to fix this. It's just, I think the balls in the courts are slower and players are bitching about it. That's what I think. For the fact that Ben Shelton complained about it, this tournament's a little weird because he's a young guy that normally does not complain. He's cocky, but he doesn't complain.
Yeah, I mean, his 5th tournament in a row, and he's played with 4 or 5 different balls. Davidovich Fokina didn't seem to have a problem with it today.
Maybe because he lost early. Maybe because he lost early in the other events. Cool.
I mean, they've played with everything. It's been the Head Pro Tour. It's been the Dunlop ATP ball. They played the Robin Soderling ball, which Cole learned there was a Robin Soderling ball last week, which was kind of fun. It's a good ball, actually.
He makes string too.
Good string too. It's a sick logo, that RS. And then I think they played with a Wilson indoor ball too at one tournament. So they've played with a lot of balls. I don't want to, Tennis Channel talked about it briefly. They were like, oh, these guys have the best physios in the world. Like, you shouldn't need that. And also a player ranked 80 in the world doesn't have the best physio in the world because we've already established they don't make that much money. So somebody's got to find a solution to this. It may not be us right now. But let's move on to a little bit of it's a Halloween themed episode, like I mentioned before. And we're going to bring back something called Tennis Frankenstein. For those who are unaware of how Tennis Frankenstein works, I used to play this with a lot of the guys I taught tennis with, and we would do it like every quarter of the season. How Tennis Frankenstein works, you get to build your tennis player like Frankenstein with different body parts and get them living. So we're going to cover a couple different parts of people's game as the body parts. So we're going to cover serve, forehand, backhand, volley, return to serve, and we'll just do we'll do a pick of your own. So you can pick something at random. So that's how we're going to do this. We're all going to have different Tennis Frankensteins. You should do this at home because it's a fun one. This is going to be, you guys want to do this as an all-time Tennis Frankenstein or a 2023 Tennis Frankenstein?
I like 2023.
2023 Frankenstein?
Yeah.
All right. I like that too. We'll start off serves. We'll do this in like a snake draft. So Fred, you can go first on that one.
All right, serve. I'm taking Bublik.
Ooh.
Wow. I'm going to go with hitting your spots over pumping your serve. So I'll take Roger Federer.
2023, Cole. You're the one that won in 2023.
Holy shit. All right, never mind. I'm going to go with absolute firepower instead.
And we're back to our regularly scheduled programming.
I can't think about a guy on tour who hits the spots. I'll take Djokovic. I'll take Djokovic to serve.
It's great serve +1. Cole, by the way, who's thrown out triple alliterations, great ideas, and then forgets that he picked 2023. Loved every second of that. I'm going with Hubert Hurkacz. I think Hubert Hurkacz has had one of the best serves on tour. He's got that massive kicker that's hard to hit. It was in between him and actually getting the bump pick Alexi Popper, so I'm going Hubert Hurkacz. Forehands. I'll start this one up. We can double up on picks if you guys want to, but I think it would be stupid not taking this year. I'm taking Carlos Alcaraz's forehand.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Yannick Sinner.
Just a good one.
Yeah, so when you said Tennis Frankenstein, I didn't really think best of all of these things. I'm just trying to think, I don't know, the first unique thing that pops into my head.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah, so I'm taking Kokkinakis forehand.
That's a good, I mean, it's a great forehand, friend. You can't really fault that one.
Yep. And then I guess it's me onto the backhands, right?
Yep.
I'm taking friend of the pod, Omni Kumar.
Yeah.
Whatever that backhand is, I'm taking it.
The 1.5.
Yep.
Fred not taking the serious approach to this. I'm going to go with Medvedev.
That's a great backhand to pick. Weirdly enough, they've done this on tour a few times. Medvedev took Dominic Thiem's backhand when they asked him about this, which I thought was kind of like an interesting pick. This is where I'm going to go Yannick Sinner. Dude fucks the ball with that thing, and he's got a pretty good slice with it. So I'm gonna sit there and take Yannick Sinner's backhand on that one. So I guess it's me. We'll go to volleys. We will go to volleys. Now, who do I want to take volleying? You know what? I'm going to go to the lady side of the game with this. I'm taking friend of the podcast, Caroline Dolhide's hands. Girl's got good hands. She volleys anything where she wants to. I think you put her in. I think you put her hands on that kind of player. I'm feeling good.
Man, I don't know. Let's go with Francis. Got good volleys.
Francis Tiafoe.
Yeah.
Francis Tiafoe's got good hands.
It's more of like a call out.
He's got some feel. I'm taking Cressy. Love
makes
Cressy.
sense.
Cressy got some volleys.
I was thinking about taking that Giovanni kid from a couple weeks ago. I just watched him hit way too many good half volleys. So if I'm gonna actually, can I change it? I'm taking Giovanni. Taking Giovanni's hands.
I'm also going to change mine and be a realist. Dan Evans, good volleys.
That's
okay.
good.
So I took Cressy. What's after volley, Keith?
I think we're going return of serve.
Oh, return of serve.
Yeah, return of serve, and then it's a whatchamacallit. Then it's a wild card.
Yeah, I'm going to take Medvedev here. Return of serve. I just think it's pretty hilarious how he just stands 50 feet behind the baseline and takes a full cut at everything, and nobody except for Alcaraz has decided to come in on it. Or
I'll take Zverev here. Return of serve.
Okay.
I think he neutralizes point very well.
In what world did I wake up that nobody picked Novak Djokovic for return of serve? In what
I
world?
already picked him as part of my serve. So I'm not going to use him twice in my Frankenstein.
You're just throwing away the goat. You got.
No, I'm just repurposing him in a different area. Just like Daniil Medvedev, did he return a masterpiece game, a match against Alcaraz at the U.S. Open? Absolutely, but I want his backhand instead.
All right. Okay. All right. I can't believe nobody got Novak Djokovic for a return to serve there. So I guess we're going for the all-inclusive, the fun extra. This could be anything. This could be movement. This could be intangibles. This could be a specific shot that somebody has. It's just kind of fun to do. I'm trying to think of what I want to pick here. I'm going to pick De Minaur's movement. I just think that guy flies around the tennis court so fast. it moves so well. I was watching him play Murray today, so it may be a recency bias, but that guy just moves, and it's fun to watch him.
I'm going to take Ben Shelton's lefty kick serve
So
as an intangible one shot that nobody else can hit except him.
you got Djokovic flipping around, hitting serves left-handed.
Still be better than me.
Let me just figure this out real quickly. Cole passed up on Djokovic's return to serve, so Djokovic could serve, but only gets half his serves.
What do you mean only? Oh no. You
Yeah.
said, no. Yeah, let me just
So Novak
tag
Djokovic
in
gets the
Shelton.
first serve.
Yeah, I was also going to go the Shelton route, but I was just going to take his celebrations. Like, you know how in like FIFA or NBA 2K, you get your my player and you create all these things, attributes, and then you have him do a celebration. Yeah, I would take Shelton.
Yeah, but Fred, that's not really who you wanted to pick. We all know you wanted to pick Baez's clay court game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like if I think I want to try and take the Santiago title away from Jari next year, yeah, maybe. Or I guess who else would be down there? Seboth Wild, Casper Ruud, Thiago Montero, Joao Souza, Pedro Souza. Who else? Joao Montero.
Every Souza.
Yeah, every Souza, every Montero, everyone named Joao.
The ghost of Gook Curtin. Like that's the last one that's down there. A Tennis Frankenstein is awesome. It's a good Halloween thing. So we'll have to post our Tennis Frankensteins on social and see which one the people like. Also comment, send us what you think you would do for a Tennis Frankenstein, because it's a good Halloween episode. It's a good Halloween treat. So I just wanted to finish up with one thing, guys. And then actually, Cole, I want to get your concern list if you have one for today. That's a look of no. We'll get one thing. I wanted to talk about some things I saw on tennis social media. One, UTS is doing some great things on videos of players talking amongst each other, which was awesome. But the big thing I wanted to mention was shout out to Pete Sampras, whose wife looks like going through cancer. Pete was very open and vulnerable for probably the first and only time in his career. I mean, that dude broke down on court once when his coach passed away, and reading that tweet, it felt like the same level of emotion he had during that. Pete Sampras, who's noticeably a quiet guy. So I think the entire tennis world is rooting for the Sampras family right now. And yeah, I just wanted to give that a little bit of shout out to them.
Oh, it's a feel good ending there, Keith.
Yeah. For once in my life, I was a little heartfelt. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably get some hate for it. But we'll get to a Cole's concern list next week, I'm guessing. We'll get a little spooky season with a Cole's concern list. But as always, check us out on our socials. We're dropping these episodes on YouTube. Cole's being very active on the Twitter or Instagram and TikTok are having some fun too. So in the meanwhile, swing a big stick, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Halloween.